Hi Chirag, hi Dheeraj.
Hey, hi guys.
Is my voice clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're able to hear you.
Sure. So let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes, then we can get started. And if there are any questions, we can take it right now. So, like, did you get a chance to practice the questions that I sent, or maybe I uploaded in the drive yesterday?
Okay. Bye.
Okay, so just wanted to see if anyone get a chance to practice the questions that I uploaded on drive yesterday for if else. Okay.
No, Kashish, it's yet to be done in my case. I haven't completed
Okay.
yesterday's part.
All right. I think that is fine, but I think you must have seen the concepts or maybe revisited what we discussed yesterday, because those concepts will be somewhat will be used in today's session also. And today we are going to start with loops, and we will skip the next weekend, which are Saturdays and Sundays, both days, so that you guys can get some time to practice the questions that I sent yesterday for if else. And today also, after the session, I will be sending you some questions for loop. So next weekend you guys can practice, and again, if there are any questions, you can definitely put them in chat. So let me share my screen to start with today's session. So this is session 7. Yesterday we discussed about conditions, which were if, elif, and else, which basically helps us to perform some task based on some condition. So if the task if the criteria is true, then we will perform certain task. Otherwise, if the criteria is false, then we will performing some other task. So today's topic is a bit different, which is known as loops. So what is a loop? Anything or any task that we want to perform repetitively, like somewhat like if there is an athlete who is running in a ground, so he's basically do 4 to 5 laps. So basically this is an example of loop. So he's making 4 loops of a ground, right? Similarly here, if I want to print a statement multiple times, so basically I want to repeat the same task multiple times. Maybe arguments can be different, or maybe you can say variable values are different, but the main task is to perform the similar task multiple times. To perform such tasks, we have a feature in Python which is loops. This is very common in every language. So let's see how it works in Python. So loops are used to automate the task which we would like to perform multiple times. There are two types of loops in Python. One is for loop and second is while loop. So for loop executes a sequence of statements multiple times with the help of iterator variable. So if you don't know what is an iterator variable, we can skip this. There is a separate topic like where we will discuss what is an iterator, what is an iterable, what is iter. So there are some like confusing keywords these are. So we will take a like few minutes in maybe upcoming sessions, and we will talk about these terms in detail. But for now, we will just understand that it executes a statement sequence of statements multiple times with the help of our iterator variable. Okay. And while loop, which we are not going to discuss today, but we can just see the theory. So while loop repeats a statement of group or group of statements while a given condition is true. So till the time the condition is true in the while loop, it will execute the statements, and once this statement or the condition is false, it will stop the execution of the loop. This is the while loop. So just remember, till the time the condition is true, it will process, otherwise it will stop. But there is nothing like in for loop, so it works independently of any condition. It's like optional if you want to mention any condition under the for loop. Otherwise, for loop can work without any condition, but while loop doesn't work without any condition. Okay, as we saw in if-else conditions, every if-else statement should be ended with a colon. Similarly, loop statement should also be ended with a colon. So this has to be kept in mind if you are working with if conditions, elif or else, or maybe you are using loops, either for or while, you have to end that statement with a colon. Okay. And just like if else condition, we were doing the indentation under the if condition. Similarly, in loops also, we will indent it so that Python should understand this statement is coming under for loop. Likewise, we were doing in the if else conditions. Okay. So now the first example is, or is there any question in the theory? If there is, maybe we will be clearing all the doubts after after looking into some examples. Maybe I will ask about the questions in few minutes. So let's take first example. So just focus on the syntax right now in this example. What we are doing, we are writing for. So for tells Python that this is the beginning of the for loop. For is a keyword which basically tells Python that this is the beginning and you should start the execution of the for loop from this portion or from this place in the program. And then we are creating I. What does it mean? We will get back to it. In range. So this is a membership operator that we discussed in previous sessions as well. And we are defining a range 0, 5. What does it mean? In the last session also we discussed about range. Range is a function which basically give us the, you can say, collection of elements. So range means it will start from 0 in this case and it will go up to 5. So the values will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the values that this range function is giving us the output. And so what will this statement do? Let's now understand. So we are telling for I in range 0, 5. So basically it will execute the statements n number of times, not the n. It will execute the statement 5 times because we have, what are the elements that are coming from range? It is 0, that is one first element, then 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these are the 5 elements which will be returned from range function. This means the number of iterations that we'll have in this loop will be 5, right? And then we are saying in each iteration, a value of from range will be stored into this variable, which is I. So in the first iteration, it will return the value 0 and it will be assigned to I. Then it will come under the for loop and it will print I. So what is the value of I? It is 0 in the first iteration. So it will just print I in the on the screen. In the next iteration, it will check the next value, which is 1. After 0, it comes 1. So now 1 will be replaced, or maybe 1 will be assigned to I. So 0 will be replaced to 1 now in the value of I. And it will again come to for loop inside the for loop and will print the ith value. So it will be 1. In the next iteration, it will print 2 and 3 and at last 4. Then it will check that range has been completed. That's why it will stop the execution of the for loop. This is how the functionality of loop works in Python. And we will see in just a couple of seconds So is there any question in the chat? Zero to 4. Yeah, right, Chirag. Okay, so let me execute this and see the result. You can see that values are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It has not printed 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 because it is iterating through each value. So it is not returning whole tuple or the list or maybe the whole range that is there. It is iterating through each element of this range. So first element is 0, that way it has printed. In the second element, it has printed 1, then 2, and then 3, then 4. So these are the iterations that happen within this for loop. This means within this range, it has executed the iterations 5 times, right? I hope this is clear. But this was so quick. If I run it again, this is so quick that we cannot see the functionality, like how it is processing it, because right now I may be in dilemma that it is processing all the values at one point of time. But let's understand the execution, how it is executing. So for this, I am importing a library. If you don't like want to understand like right now what are the libraries, since I have not defined or I have not explained what are the libraries, so let's just ignore this and let's just focus on the functionality, what it is doing. So let me run this. So what it will do, I have written the same statement for I in range 0, 5. But okay, let me just give you a brief overview of time. So in Python, libraries are something which are developed by the community developers. It can be you, it can be me, and it can be like whole of the world is working on the Python libraries development. What is a library? I can just give you overview. So library is something, suppose I have a very big task. Maybe I have to create a linear regression model where there has to be a lot of coding behind it. Likewise, if I want to do a project on linear regression, I am just doing a linear reg dot fit, something like that, and then we are predicting. But there is a bunch of code that runs in the backend. So who has written that code in the scikit-learn library? So scikit-learn is a library. So there are some community developers who are working to develop some libraries so that whole world can take benefit from it. We can also write a library through which we can provide some benefits to whole Python community. So anything that, suppose I want to write 10 lines or 20 lines of code right now, but you can see that these 20 lines can be utilized by other people also. So you can make it as a library so that they can just install on their machine and they will reduce their time in the code development. So those codes are readily available to other developers which are written by you. So similarly, here we are using time library, which is inbuilt in Python. So if you just install Python, time libraries comes by default, and someone might have written in this code in past. So by importing time library, there are some functions like print function and type function that we were using that were by default in Python. So there are functions that are defined in this library, which we are just using it and taking the benefit of that function, basically functionality. Let's see. So from time, we are using a function which is sleep, right? So we have imported time library and we are using time dot sleep. So sleep function basically tells Python to sleep for this much seconds. We have entered 3 and we will just see how it works. In the upper statement, the for loop was executed in just couple of milliseconds. But here we are making Python sleep for 3 seconds in each iteration, and then it will print I. Let's see how. So let me run it. You can see 3 seconds will be taken and it will print 0. Again 3 seconds, it will print 1. So now we can see that it is iterating one by one for each element in this range. You can increase the time or decrease the time. So these are the seconds that we define in the sleep argument. If I reduce to 1, you can see it will be much faster than the previous one. So this is just for the demonstrating purposes, because in the upper cell, we were not clear if it is printing one by one or as a whole. So now we are much clearer that for loop is working one by one on each element in this range. Okay, now any question in these two examples?
Kashish, one question.
Yep, tell me.
So we have not given a command to print it in the next line. Like why is it printing in the next line? I was expecting it would print in a same row.
Okay, good question. So if I write print maybe A, and then if I write comma and B, what it is printing? It is printing in the same line. But if I print B in the next print statement as B, it will print in the different lines. So this is the difference in the above program, because if we just giving the values in just one print statement, then it would have printed all the values in one line. But what is happening here? So in the first iteration, it is executing this statement. This is done. This is completed. First print statement is executed, just like here. So it printed A. Then in the next iteration, it is again printing one more statement. It is not the same statement. It is basically printing one more statement here, just like this, and maybe it is printing like 5 different statements, not just one single statement. So this is the basic difference. So when you are printing the different print statement, it will always come to the next line. It cannot retain it to the same line.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So maybe you can try to increase the time and test this time.sleep function that comes from time library. We will talk much about libraries later, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Now, okay. Now this should make your question much clearer in this example. So now we are printing for I in range 1, 5. What will be the range in this question? Can anyone tell me? Range 1, 5. 1 to 4, that's right. Okay, so in the first iteration, I will have value 1. In the next iteration, I will value have 2, and it will go up to 4. But in the first iteration, when the value of I is 1, it will come to the under the for loop, and it will print the value of I, which is 1. And we are also saying that comma, you should also print A. So it will print in the first iteration, it will print ith value, which is 1, comma A. So A is static. It is not coming from any variable. That's why in all the iterations, A will be constant, or you can say it will be static. If I print this, you can see that 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. So this is how we can print multiple arguments. But again, coming to your question that you asked, that it is not printing in one line. So whatever arguments that you're giving in just one single statement, it will print in one line. Otherwise, if we are printing multiple print statements, it will always come in the next line. Okay, the next example is, we can also do some arithmetic operations in the loops. So now the range is 0, 10. This means it will start from 0 and it will go up to 9, because the stop position, which is 10, will be excluded. So 0, 0 to 9 is my range. Then in the first iteration, value will be 1, and we are printing I plus I. So this will be 1 plus 1. It will print 2. In the next, sorry, my bad. The first value is 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. And in the next iteration, the value will be 1. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. Then 2 plus 2 will be 4. And it will go up to 9 plus 9, which is 18. Let's check the answer. You can see it has printed 0 to 18, which is the last value, 9 plus 9. This is like very simple. If you just understand this logic, what it is doing in the back end, then loops are nothing for you. This is very simple, because all the statement that comes under the loop, we had already learned in the previous sessions. We will use all the statements that will come under for loop, that are the concepts that we discussed in the previous sessions. Okay, now likewise we did slicing and dicing. There were 3 arguments that we passed on to when we were doing slicing and dicing in strings, or maybe list or tuples. So what were they? They were like start value, stop value, and step value. And here also in range, we are defining the start value, stop value, and the step value. But while we were doing indexing or slicing and dicing, we were using colon in between the stop value and the start value, stop value, and step value. But here we are giving comma, because in all the functions, range is a function. all the functions take comma as the separator, but not the colon. So this is the difference. You have to like know about the syntax, but where you should use comma, where you should use colon. And here also you can see in every statement we are using colon at the end. And again, it should be indented under the for loop. So what this statement will perform, so it will start from 0, it will go up to 50, not 50, up to 49, and the step value is 5. The first value will be 0, then the next value will be 0 plus 5, it will be 5. Then we are jumping the 5 steps, so the next value, which means the second value, will be third value will be 5 plus 5 will be 10. So let's see the answer. It will be 0, 5, 10, 15, and it will go up to 45, because if we go do 45 plus 5, it will be 50, which is an invalid value for me. If I make it 51, so now this range will be 0, 50. It will now go to 50. So my last value in this case now will be 50. Yeah, multiples of 5. That's correct, Dheeraj. Okay. The next example says, as we know, list can take heterogeneous or compound data types. Compound data types means it can be numbers, or it can be strings, or it can be list under a list. That is also possible. I can demonstrate that. It can be like 10 comma a. So we can see that the first element is, sorry, zeroth element, zeroth index, the value is 1. At the first index, the value is my name, first name. Second index, the value is 3. Third index, the value is my last name. At the fourth index, value is 5. At the fifth index, this is complete list. At the fifth index, value is not 10. This will be complete list, because this is an element of this outer list. If there is any confusion, you can maybe post in chat. I will make it clear. Otherwise, we can proceed. So for I in L, likewise, we were using if directly list in the if conditions. Similarly, we can use list, tuples, dictionary, set in loops also. Okay, now let me just give you an overview about the iterables. So range basically giving us the values to iterate. Like it is giving us the range from 0 to 51, which are giving us the values to iterate. So it was 0, 5, 10, 15. So anything on which we can iterate, those are known as iterables, right? So likewise, list is an iterable. Similarly, tuple is an iterable, because those can be directly used in the for loop, to which we can iterate over the elements. So if I use for I in L, it will iterate through each element. It will traverse through each element of this list. So first one will be first element, then second element will be my name, third element will be this, and similarly others. So any object in Python which can iterate are known as iterables. And in for loop, we always use iterables, just like range function. We can use tuples, we can use list, we can use set, dictionary, all of those things. So all of these objects are iterables. If you are not clear with the iterables and iterators, don't worry, there will be a separate session for that. But this was just the overview, what are the iterables. So now we are using for I in L. So L will be passed as a iterable, and the first element will be passed to I. So first value will be 1 for I. In the next iteration, the value of I will be Kashish, and it will print it. Let's see the output. It has printed all the elements one by one. And note this, that this complete list is a one element. That's why it has printed it as is. Again, if there is any question, you can maybe post in the chat. We can take that later. Let's proceed to some other questions. Again, we are creating a list which have 5 elements, 1 to 5. And now, as we know what is slicing and dicing, can anyone tell me what is the answer of this? A 1 colon 3. 2, 3, 4. Let me check. 2, 3, 4. Are you sure, Chirag? Anyone else? 2. That's also not right. Guys, you need to like revisit the concepts. This will definitely going to be very difficult if you don't practice the previous concepts. Yeah, Anusha, that is correct. So the values will be 2, 3. Let's understand why. Because we are writing a, we are doing the indexing on a variable, which is a list. Since we are using square brackets, so it will start from 1. So what is the first index? This is the 0th index. This is the first index. So it will start from 2 and it will go up to 3. So this is the first index, this is second, this is 3. So always the stop position will be eliminated. The answer of this will be 2 and 3. So now we are not iterating through complete list. We are just iterating through some of the elements of the list. So we can do slicing and dicing directly in the for loop. So there can be like a very big list that is there, but if we don't want to iterate through each element, we can mention this slicing and dicing here. And now for I in range, so not range, for I in this list A, and from like 2 and 3, what we are doing, we are multiplying it. So first value of I will be 2 in the first iteration. It will print 2 into 2 will be 4, and then 3 into 3 will be 9. This is the answer. And in next case, what would be the like answer for this? A colon 3. Just try this. This is very simple. We had already did like a lot of practice while we were using strings. Colon 3, yes, that is right. 1 comma 2 comma 3, 0 to 3. Yes. Chirag, if you're talking about index 0 to 3,
Yeah, it was about index actually. 0th index, first, second, that way. I mean,
so 3 will not be there. It will go up to 2. 0, 1, 2. These will be 3 indexes. So the value on, yeah. So that's fine. I think you are a little confused, or maybe not sure. So Chetan, that is right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the answer will be 1, 2, 3. So we are iterating through these 3 elements, and it will print just 1, 2, and 3 in the output. And then using colon, this means we are using complete list. So it will be printing all the elements 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. Then 1 colon 4 colon 2. Anyone would like to try this? 1 colon 4 colon 2. One to 3 in this step. So what will be the values, Chirag? Two comma 4. Chetan is saying, and Anusha is also saying 2 comma 4. Chirag, do you also have the same answer?
no, it will be like 4, 9, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 16. I mean, sorry, it is in the step of 2, right? Yeah, so we need to add 2 to those things.
Like, what would be the like final answer you are saying? This is the question,
Wait.
and these are the values.
4.
Okay.
4 and for 3 we will be adding again 4 and 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6.
Where is 6? Can you like explain me how you're doing? 1 colon 4 colon 2. So what is this one?
Means first step is that is first step, that is numerical 2 in list A.
This is the start value. That's right. This is the starting value.
Numerical 2 in list A. So
it will print 2.
Then
this is the first
it will
element.
print 2.
Right. Then the next value will be.
Then step 2. In that case, it will be It will go to 4. Yeah, only 2, 4.
Yeah. So now that you are understanding the concept, so that's fine. At least you are trying. So don't get confused. You have to just practice these things. These things actually look very little or very small while looking at the programs, but actually when you code it, you will definitely face some challenges like these. But that's fine, Chirag. You are at least trying. So let me run this. The answer will be 2 and 4. And Anusha and Chetan, your answer were also correct. Now colon -1. I'm looking for the answers. Please try, guys. Colon -1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay. Perfect, Chetan. So now we are using the reverse of the list. So first value will be 5. So it will print 5 into 5. That will be 25. And then 16, then 9, 4, and 1. So this is the answer. All right. What would be the answer for this? For I in 1, 20, print I. Now I want maximum participation in this question because this is the last basic question that I have right now. Please post answer for this question. For I in 120, print I. Nusha, how it is 1 to 5? I have written 1, 20, and Chirag also.
Actually, I was no. Actually, I was considering the above list that you have mentioned over there.
Yeah, even same.
Considering
Like
that.
it will be 1 to 20 then.
I have not written.
Yeah, if you are not. No, if you're not considering the list above, then it will be 1 to 19, or else it would be this. Typing takes time, so.
No, it will be 1 to 20 since it is not a range.
Okay, that's why I wanted the maximum participation. So Himesh, Chetan, and Kapil, all of these guys are saying 1 to 20. But here is the tricky one in this question. First of all, this is not a range, right? Range function is defined like this. Let me go up. You can see that range, for a range function, we have to define range keyword. Then we have to define the range that we are giving, right? But in this case, we are not defining any range. So let me go down. For list, we were using square brackets. For tuples, we define the circular brackets. So what it is, this is a tuple that we are using here. So now any answers? This is not a range. 1 and 20, perfect, Dheeraj. So the only values that will be printed is just 1 and 20. This is not a range. It's not a list even. It is a tuple. So the only values that it will print is 1 and 20. That's why I just wanted to see how many people are focusing and how many are remembering the concepts that we discussed.
I am focusing, Kashish.
But still, I got the wrong answer, no?
You should set up MCQs, you know.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make it clear. Like you should focus on the brackets that we are using, and don't get just confused with the range function and the normal tuple. We have not used range. That's why it is a normal tuple. If we give it as square brackets, now it becomes a list, and the answer will be still remain same. Because as I said, list, tuple, set, all of these are iterables and they can iterate in the for loop. And with this, I hope the basics are clear for loops. Now we will proceed towards some advanced questions that are there. Can we quickly rejoin, because there are only 5 minutes left and I don't want to left in between. So can we please guys rejoin, and I'm ending this session.